Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Healthink
Good
and
morning.
Good morning. Healthink and Indian Naturopathy and Yoga Graduate Medical Association (INIGMA) present to you Ayush Connect, a special series of talks focused on a very important Ayush care, healthcare intervention, yoga and naturopathy system of medicine. The Ayush Connect program will be telecast live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Today, uh, we will have an overview of yoga and naturopathy system of medicine. In today's discussion, we will try to understand from the stalwarts of yoga and naturopathic medical profession on what is yoga and naturopathy system of medicine, the role of yoga and naturopathy in Ayush and public healthcare, the yoga and naturopathic medical education, regulatory issues with regard to yoga and naturopathy system of medicine, and on the occasion of 150th year of Mahatma Gandhi's birth anniversary, the whole world is celebrating. We would like to understand the connection of yoga and naturopathy with Mahatma Gandhi ji. On the panel today, we have very distinguished guests, uh, Dr. K. Satyalakshmi, the current director of National Institute of Naturopathy in Pune under Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. She has done 4.5 year diploma in naturopathy from Osmania University, Hyderabad, MPhil from Center of Economic and Social Studies, and a PhD in medical sociology from University of Hyderabad. Welcome on the panel, ma'am.
Thank
Then we
you.
have Dr. Then we have Dr. Raghavendra Rao, who has a Bachelor of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences, a 5.5 years medical program from prestigious SDM College of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences in Karnataka, and a PhD in Yoga and Life Sciences from Svyasa Yoga University, Bangalore. He is the director of Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, an apex body for clinical research in Yoga and Naturopathy system of medicine under Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Prior to joining CCRYN, Dr. Rao had been working as the head of Complementary and Alternative Medicine Department at SCG Cancer Hospitals, Bangalore. Welcome to the panel, Dr. Rao. Finally, we have Dr. Babu Joseph. He retired as the director of National Institute of Naturopathy in Pune under Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. He has served as the Chief Medical Officer of Government Nature Care Hospital, Varkala in Kerala. Currently, he is running Netaji Subhas Yoga and Nature Care Hospital in Cochin, Kerala. So, welcome to the panel, Dr. Babu Joseph, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, now, uh, since this discussion is going to have a larger overview of what yoga and naturopathic medicine is, we will start the discussion from Dr. Satyalakshmi, ma'am. Ma'am, can you tell why yoga and naturopathy as a system of medicine are getting more popularity in recent days?
Yeah. See, thanks to COVID, for that matter, which has created lot of issues in society, and particularly the system of medicine as such, as a single unit of body of healthcare that is offered to people. That means all systems of medicine put together are completely at a loss to understand what they can offer to people. So that's when COVID-19 has shown to people that medicine has limited applications, and it is administrators and it is the other governance which is taking care of COVID. And only when terminally ill cases and patients referred to hospitals are taken care, and even the dead bodies are, how they are dealt with every day we are seeing. So all this is making us more and more relevant today. Us means here naturopaths and yoga people, because um, now everybody is talking what prevents, what protects you from COVID is your innate immunity. This is what we've been talking all along. So don't dig a well when you are thirsty. That has been our, our standard phrase all along. So when this now COVID has really brought this into out very clearly, telling people that now look for immunity boosting. No, everything, including sanitizers, kakadas, and biscuits, bread, everything is now immune boosting thing. What can immune be purchased? Immunity can be purchased. It needs to be nurtured, cultivated, and protected. And it's a lifelong process. It comes from your thoughts, it comes
Very right.
from the way you live, it comes from the way you integrate yourself in nature. So all this is coming back, and people are looking for solutions, asking naturopaths and tell us something what we should do. This is where we become much more relevant, and we are becoming relevant, and people are asking us how we can nurture our immunity. So that, I think, that is the reason uh, the our popularity is increasing now.
Very nicely explained, ma'am. There is everyone is talking about immunity and boosting immunity, and naturopathy and yoga is as a system of medicine uh, offers better solutions on that front. Dr. Raghavendra Rao, it is said that yoga and naturopathy are two wheels of a cart. They work best in this combination. Can you please elaborate on this?
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. We can say yoga and naturopathy are the two sides of the same coin, or you can say two wheels of a cart, because one is interdependent on the other. When you talk about yoga and talk about naturopathy, both of them are what? They are the main means of a lifestyle. They talk about how to live life to the fullest extent, how to live life with a lot of discipline. Okay, and that is very, very important today when you talk about COVID as well. As Madam rightly put it up, when the goalposts have changed now, you're moving from the hospital to a home. You are more responsible for your health now, and that's what both yoga as well as naturopathy teaches on. It lays more emphasis on leading the right way of life with physical activity, with the right amount of nutrition, right amount of food, and right amount of detoxification. So all these things, all these mental disciplines and physical disciplines which we imbibe in our life are part of the same capsule. That's the reason why we say yoga and Nashpati are one. So Nashpati talks about the five elements, the Pancha Mahabhutas, and yoga also talks about the same thing. Okay, it talks about bringing about a balance in these doshas, bring about balance in the Pancha Mahabhutas. Okay, it talks about bringing about a balance in the mental faculties. So all these things go hand in hand, and both of them are inseparable, and both of them being drugless systems of medicine. Why I say this is very important for us to understand that the moment we say this can go and cure a particular disease, we say it is a drug. Okay, so we are talking about drugless systems of medicine. What do you mean by drugless systems of medicine? We use spices, we use kitchen remedies, we use home remedies, we use our own food which we eat. All these are medicine itself. If we eat the right kind of food, if we do the right kind of activity, if you bring the balance between your eating as well as the physical activity which you are doing, if you're learning to eat to live, not live to eat, and that's what discipline is all about. And when you're able to maintain that kind of a disciplined lifestyle, that's what yoga and Ashwati emphasizes, and that's the reason why I say both are two wheels of the same cart or two sides of the same coin.
Thank you, Dr. Raghavendra Rao. I think that explains why yoga and naturopathy, both the drugless systems, work together as a single system of medicine. Dr. Babu Joseph, sir, you have a long experience with yoga and naturopathy settings. You come from the first few batches of uh, diploma in naturopathy program at Osmania University. We would like to understand from you how yoga and naturopathy came to be combined as a single system of medicine. What is the historical perspective you'd like to put some light on?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. See, yoga and naturopathy, as Dr. Raghavendra Rao was mentioning, both are drugless in nature, two drugless approaches. Similarly, both these paths together work as a best mind-body medicine. So that is the important thing. To mend the mind, actually yoga helps a lot. And naturopathy mainly works at the mind level. See, the basic principle of naturopathy is body heals itself, or vitality is the healer. Healing power is within. So what does it mean when healing power is within? The mind is directly involved. When the mind and body works together, only then the healing can come or can be effected. So that way, yoga can help a lot in the practice of naturopathy. And from the beginning of naturopathy practice in India as a standalone medicine, you can see that from 1885 onwards, every naturopathy hospital was named as a center for yoga and naturopathy, or say naturopathy and yoga. You can see the institute in Hyderabad, where I have been graduated. And similarly, the Jindal Hospital, SDM College of Yoga and Naturopathic Sciences. It's not only naturopathy college, it's a college for naturopathy and yoga. So everywhere it has been clubbed together from the beginning of individual practice of naturopathy in India. Inseparable, you can say. Similarly, there was a time when only few yoga institutions and naturopathy institutions were promoting yoga. Whereas after 1980, that is after 1 century of yoga and naturopathy combined practice, when there was a promotion in tourism, when the demand from people from abroad came on yoga, even other medical systems have turned to yoga. You can see as an example the curriculum of naturopathy studies or yoga naturopathy course. It is called BNYS, Bachelor of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences. Whereas in any other medical system, you don't see that yoga has been imparted as a major subject in their studies. So from 1970 onwards, when the college was started, recognized college by Osmania University was started, the curriculum was mainly containing naturopathy and yoga subjects. You can say almost say minimum 30% was contributed to yoga studies. And practical training, day one to day last, there is practical training for the yoga naturopathy physicians. They are not just teachers without practice, but everyday practice and a detailed study. So in the history of naturopathy practice in India as a standalone system of medicine, we can always see that these two were clubbed together and it is inseparable and it works beautifully because there is a perfect symmetrical synchrony. You can find when yoga and naturopathy are merged together, mingled together, and when it is applied. See, fasting is one of the main tools in naturopathy, and relaxation is one of the main provision we are provided from yoga, which is very much essential for fasting. Without relaxation, fasting is not effective. So when you do fasting, to relax, you can make use of the yoga component in that. So that way, I think naturopathy always embraces yoga as one of the main tool in the practice or applications of naturopathy.
Thank you, sir. Um, I think that explains, it's not a very recent thing that yoga and naturopathy are working as a system of medicine. There is a long history behind it. and nature cure centers in the 18th and 19th centuries have also incorporated yoga as one of their main practices uh, within the nature cure system. Madam, then there is a question. Usually, people get confused out of many other systems of medicine, especially the Ayush healthcare. Uh, what is the difference between yoga and naturopathy versus the other systems of medicine? What distinguishes the yoga and naturopathic system of medicine from the others?
All other systems in Ayush are drug based, and that is the only thing that distinguishes naturopathy from all other systems. And yoga and naturopathy, we completely rely on internal resources and natural resources. So, but then, having said this, naturopathy should not be seen as non medical science. Immediately there are some elements who would like to categorize naturopathy and yoga, since there are no drugs used, it's not medicine. But then food is our medicine, sun is our medicine, water is our medicine. So there are these kinds of medicines which are used in naturopathy system. So this has to be clearly understood when we are talking in public. So we have to be careful in showing ourselves as, while saying drugless, we should also make sure that, or use this word drugless less, and then start using rational science of medicine, and that will gain us a better footing, rather than saying drugless again and again, because we will be giving a handle for people to beat us with. So we should also use these challenges, uh, because language ultimately will have its own what you call advantages and disadvantages. So we should be careful. Having said this, naturopathy has many other advantages over all other systems of medicine, where, because failure is our strength. Like with regard to food, all others may be talking about, but they're clueless what to advise. With regard to exercise, they all may be talking about it's good, but then they're clueless as to what to advise. We are thoroughly trained in that. We are thoroughly experimented. And in our clinical training also, we know very well when to advise fast, and then when to advise fruit diet, when to advise cooked food, and then how much of it and what combinations. And there is nobody better than us. This barrier that they are facing, we could very easily come out of it, and we have a proven record that we are very good at that. So we should maintain this position. And with regard to nutrition, I think everybody should consult us only. And even if they try to temporarily snatch it from us, it will come back to us. That's what is happening. If not by governments, but public at least. People come back to us. They ask us only. And special privilege that we have should thoroughly be understood by our doctors, and feel proud about it, and do their bit in that area. I think with that, we will definitely have a relevance, irrespective of being recognized by governments or not. I think that is our strength.
Very well explained. I think yoga and naturopathy as a lifestyle medicine to prevent a host of non-communicable conditions which are actually becoming very big burden on the public health care systems across the world. Yoga and naturopathy as a combination provides a very good solution to that. Thank you for elaborating on that point, madam.
Yeah.
Now, I will ask this question to Dr. Rao. And this question is that you are the director of Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy. So yoga and naturopathy has been recognized as a system of medicine at the level of Government of India for last 50 years, because the CCRYN was established in 1978. And even prior to the division within the Central Council for Research in Indian Medicine, yoga and naturopathy was always a part of Indian systems of medicine. So why suddenly there is a discussion in some parts of the Ministry of Ayush that yoga and naturopathy are two different disciplines, and you know what are the reasons for this kind of discussions?
Let me begin by saying what is the reason by which they are basing this premise on. First, one thing they say that yoga is traditional to India. They say that yoga originated about 5,000 years ago, with very long history. There are a lot of textual references on using yoga interventions, and a lot of schools of yoga which have gone over the centuries, which has passed on this knowledge from generations to generations. This kind of a legacy is not there for naturopathy as far as India is concerned. The legacy of naturopathy starts off during the Mahatma Gandhi era. This is the pre-independence era, and that's when they say that this is too recent, whereas yoga is several thousands of years old. That is one of the premises of the history of Ayush, to say that yoga is a traditional system of medicine, whereas naturopathy is a system of medicine which originated temporarily mainly in the West and was brought to India in the early part of the 20th century. That is the major argument. But I also would like to counter this argument in a different perspective. Now, looking at the development of yoga in our country, though yoga was culturally very rooted, strongly rooted in our country, it lost its footing over the years, over the generations historically. Okay, there are a lot of changes in yoga. There's a lot of changes in different forms of yoga. A lot of teachers of yoga, a lot of schools of yoga, a lot of thoughts of yoga. So it underwent many sort of transformations over the years with the development of religion, dominance of religion, change in religion. For example, when Mughals came, the yoga was not dominant at all. When the Buddhists surfaced, the Jainism and Buddhism became more dominant. The meditative traditions of yoga became more dominant. And then when the Hatha Yoga cult came, it was again a different transformation. Yoga has undergone transformation over several thousand years. It's not the same as when Maharshi Patanjali put the aphorisms of yoga. Okay? But what is very important for us to understand is, since when did the population, the community start using yoga? The yoga, historically, the yoga was mainly confined to the Gurukul system, was confined to the yoga schools, and very little number of people were having benefit out of the yoga interventions. Okay, use of yoga for maintaining health or preventing disease was also not much known. So if you look at the textual differences, nothing is much told about using yoga for diabetes or heart disease or anything. The ambit of using yoga interventions for these medical conditions surfaced in the early part of the 21st century. That was in 1920s, when you had some of the important yoga schools like Kaivala Dham in Lonavala, who started experimenting on the yoga, the physiological basis of yoga. So just like medicine started evolving in the later part of the 20th century, 21st century, and yoga also started evolving. Naturopathy also started evolving. So it is the same evolution of different systems of medicine which started gaining refinement, started evolving over the time. Now, if you look at yoga also, in the pre-independence era, 1920s is when the yoga started also evolving. Okay, they started understanding the physiological basis of yoga. First experiment on yoga, the physiological basis of yoga was in Kaivala Dharma. It was published in their monthly journal by Swami Kovalyananda. And later on, the research into yoga started off with Western researchers coming into India, starting to understand different aspects of yoga, starting to understand different aspects of samadhi, okay, and other these which the yoga gurus started possessing. So the yoga, understanding the concept of yoga, the modern concept of yoga is also started in the pre-independence era. The use of naturopathy is also started in the pre-independence era. Both of them have the same timelines as far as my understanding goes. And why I say this is very clear, because we have seen that yoga, the pre-independence era, mainly the birth of naturopathy was not just in the Mahatma Gandhi and his followers, but it was more in Gujarat, more in Maharashtra, as well as in, in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh as well. you know what we call them, what we are known starting both are very basic. So there was a lot of developments in naturopathy in yoga during those times, and when naturopaths were already adopting yoga, yoga was like a way of life for naturopaths. They're already prescribing yoga for their patients. So anybody who any sort of illness underwent fasting, underwent diet regimen, also underwent yoga regimen as well. So this is a very important aspect which we need to understand that. So pre-independence era, both of them took off in their own directions. And if you see, Nashpati did take a lead as far as yoga and naturopathy was concerned. In the 1970s, as Dr. Babu Joseph rightly put it, they were the first to start curriculum-based teachings on yoga. Okay, so it was in the Naturopathy Center in the BNY, in the ND, the Diploma in Naturopathy courses. They're the first to start introducing yoga as a part of any sort of a medical curriculum for therapy. Okay, and later on, the BNY started off in 1989, and they made it more structured and took yoga through the next 5 years of teaching, which is a more rigorous kind of yoga teaching in the BNY's curriculum. So we are not the ones who are lagging behind. BSc of yoga, the MSc of yoga came back later on, okay, after the BNY started. So they were more into an education kind of teaching, more into philosophical understanding of yoga. So yoga came into the branch of sociology. Yoga went into branch of philosophy, okay, and little did it go into the practice of medicine. And it was only until the BNY's uh, mandate that yoga, the medical applications of yoga was born. And if you look at any experimental studies on yoga, research findings of yoga, they're all in the medical mainstream. Okay, and we see the maturation of yoga as a system of medicine more in our own discipline than any other discipline today we can talk about. No, I understand that Ayurveda also had yoga there, but yoga was just a small chapter in Swastavrita of Ayurveda. It was just a single chapter. Only 50 marks was devoted to it, and only a few 1 month of yoga intervention, 1 month of yoga class they were supposed to attend to know about yoga, which was very very minimal as far as the core curriculum is concerned about yoga. So this said, I still believe that yoga and naturopathy should have been gone hand in hand, but there are people who try to want to use yoga now. Yoga has become very popular. So since 2014, yoga has become very very popular in the country, and many of them want to take the legacy of yoga. They want to take the credit for the legacy of yoga, and they want to see yoga being spread wide and far. I do accept this ideology that yoga should be spread to the all aspects of disciplines, be it in education, be it in management, be it in medical training, whatever it is. Okay, but BMS people should be given their right due in recognizing yoga much before than all other systems of medicine. And I don't think it is right to take away the rights of yoga from the BMS doctors who are really been practicing. And I hope the government is going to take up corrective action in this matter very soon on this.
Thank you, Dr. Raghvendra Rao. I think this also, when we were giving the context of how yoga and naturopathy as a system of medicine evolved together, we understand the context is that both yoga therapy applications as well as naturopathy centers started building somewhere in the early part of the 20th century, and the naturopathy centers were the first to adapt yoga as a therapeutic tool. And then subsequently, whenever the courses got formulated, yoga was always an inherent part of yoga naturopathy curriculum. And when the first BNY's, the naturopathy and yoga course degree was launched in 1989, it was always called a naturopathy and yogic sciences degree than just a naturopathy or yogic sciences degree.
Vale.
So it explains how they have been together and how they complement each other for a long period of time. And saying that traditionally yoga has been different, I think the therapeutic applications of yoga has started somewhere in early part of 20th century, and there is no much history of its application in a very professional setting earlier than that. So uh, any claim that it's very ancient, there are many ancient things which are part of modern healthcare systems now. Every traditional and modern healthcare systems are continuously evolving. Many things we are learning from China. Acupuncture is becoming part of integrative medicine. Yoga is being adapted at uh, you know many settings of integrative health. Similarly, naturopathy, nutrition, many other things are learning from each other and combining each other's best positions. So, yoga and naturopathy in India have evolved together, taking the advantages of being both as the drugless systems of medicine, and they are. I think the government of India itself made the first step of combining yoga and naturopathy by establishing Central Council for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy, where you are the director.
Can I just interfere?
Sure, please.
I have one doubt about what Dr. Raghavendra was mentioning. When did the yoga component has come to Swasthavrata, or 150 marks were devoted for yoga component? It
It's
is
not
that
150 marks, sir. It was just 50 marks.
okay, 50 marks. When it
It's in
was
late
started?
19. It is in the late 1990s, sir.
That's what I told. After 1985, that is after 1 century completion of having a merged practice of yoga and naturopathy, after a century it was attended. And the main reason I tell you, because I am the direct witness for that in Kerala, when tourism has grown, there was an opportunity for yoga, and that is how everybody started say embracing yoga also, or trying to make it their own. This I have to make a mention, because I was practicing in a tourist
now
center.
I would like to ask this question to Madam. Like, how do you see that? Everybody has started claiming yoga as that it belongs to them, uh, whereas we are the early people. Like, we have adapted yoga as part of it, integrated it. We have made it as a system of medicine. Now everybody is claiming that yoga is part of them. Is it because
Yeah.
it's becoming popular?
Yeah, yeah. See, I think we are very naive and innocent people as such. Very unlike our forefathers. Who were very fierce and then very like fighters like. You see, yoga. Uh, Babu sir, you should also correct your stand. It is not from 80s when yoga has become part of our curriculum, 70s. It is in 1920, the first All India Nature Cure Federation in Vijayawada. Those days it was called Bejwada, and post to Kanpur conference, they made a resolution, and the resolution copy is with me. It was part of my MPhil outcome that I procured this paper, wherein they made yoga part of the curriculum. 1920, please mind you. Until then, yoga was practiced. Yes, sir, I have that paper with me.
I told it is 1885. Yoga
No,
was
it
merged
is
with naturopathy. 1885.
1885. Naturopathy has not come to India.
No, madam, I am sorry.
No.
Acharya Picha Venkatramaya and Venkatachalapati Sharma, they started their practice or say they have come back to India in 1885 after learning with the Louis Coney.
No,
And then,
1897.
okay.
1897. I have precise dates and numbers, and I am telling you as part of this study, and I have procured all papers and then handwritten manuscripts also. They are all with Sir Rameshwaram in his library, and any naturopath enthusiast can go there, and then he is providing even a room to sit and then study for a naturopath. For free of cost, he would like to provide that facility. So
I agree.
This is very, very important for all of us to understand. Till 1920s, yoga was performed by individuals, and they were only practicing yoga wherein not for health reasons. Yoga was performed for many other reasons, but not health. And it is the imagination of naturopaths. It is their foresight into the benefits of yoga, particularly hatha yoga. They brought yoga into the curriculum, and every naturopath was taught yoga but that is mostly asanas and pranayama and a little bit of prayers. This was the beginning of yoga that was practiced by most of the naturopaths. And the health benefits of yoga was first appreciated by naturopaths only. And that credit has to go to naturopaths. And it is our subject. Even Ayush, even today, they cannot deny naturopaths learning yoga and using yoga as a tool. They may keep yoga as a separate system altogether for all other applications of yoga, not for health applications of yoga. When it comes to health applications of yoga, it will be with the naturopaths. Even otherwise, see, Ayurveda, I had an experience going to some country along with Ayurveda practitioners, and they were just dumbfounded. They could not even conduct a session. Forget about talk about yoga other than saying that yoga is part of their subject. It is ultimately we naturopath who could deal. So this is our strength. We have to protect it and it will be with us. Even if they temporarily say also, it's not so easy for them to put it into practice. And we have already done it for this long, only we will be able to do it. I'm sure this is going to happen. I have no doubt about it. And we don't have to even fight it. Let them take it and then see. You think Ayurveda people can teach yoga and then they will be able to do yoga the way we are doing? No chance. And we have well developed already. We are far superior in that. We have established departments and all naturopaths know to use these tools. We have been using it. So how can anybody match us? I think we are matchless there.
As a yoga practitioner, I'm happy that at least today there are other people to accept yoga as a therapy or a system of medicine. I'm happy because we are yoga practitioners. So we should be happy that when more people accept yoga.
Yes,
Actually,
correct.
Actually, ultimately, everything will evolve into respecting each other's training and the specialties, and that is where the evolution of integrative medicine is. That whatever you have, you come with the best you have, and I come with the best I have, and let us practice it together. Let us make it more useful for the humankind, and make it more useful for a host of non-communicable, metabolic, endocrine, stress-borne, and lifestyle-borne disorders, which are going to be, uh, very wide and affecting a large part of population throughout the world. So that is where we have to take the best approaches, and definitely it cannot be done by those people who have less training or no training in something which they want to claim in. So that is where the help of yoga and naturopathy physicians would be very much essential when you want to integrate yoga therapy into any clinical or healthcare setting. So I think that explains it. Dr. Rao, there is a question which comes because of some confusing statements which are coming from some part of the ministry where you are posted. And the detractors believe that yoga and naturopathy are not to be treated as a system of medicine because they do not use drugs. How do you respond to that?
If merely using drug is a system of medicine, and I would say that they can be a druggist or a chemist. So medicine is a system where you diagnose a condition and you manage and treat a condition, maybe by surgery, by drugs, by lifestyle change, counseling, or whatever it is. So my medicine is a bigger ambit, a bigger force. A drug is just only a small part of it. And what is drug? Basically anything which can change the characteristics inside your body, change the physiological, bring out physiological changes inside the body, correct the pathological conditions in the body, maybe a drug. Okay. So in that case, when your food is also a drug, in that case, drinking water is also a drug. So if you prescribe something for some particular ailment, and if that ailment goes away, then you are given a drug. Very simple in basic understanding. So people try to use this in a different context. They think giving an Ayush drug, you have ASU systems, giving Ayurvedic herbal medicine, giving a Siddha portrait medicine or a Unani medicine or any decoctions or anything for any particular condition is a drug. Now, I would like to even counter this act. If that's going to be a drug, then when allopathy is much more refined form of all these medicines, because we look at most of the anti-cancer drugs in allopathy, and 60% of them are from plant alkaloids. Okay, like for example, vincristine is from Vinca rosea. Okay, you have a Taxol from Pacific U. So all these are from folklore claims, are from these very plant sources. But these are all refined form. They want to go on clinical trials. They want to go on serious testing, and they are found to be useful in cancer, and that's why they have been in practice today. Now, when it comes to allopathy as a conventional mainstream medicine, they don't agree with what the ASU talks about. They don't agree with their drugs. They disagree with them because they say that ours is more refined form. We have done the clinical trials, we have done the evidence-based medicine, and based on those, we are arguing our case. Whereas if you see the ASU today, we don't see any sort of clinical trials. We don't have evidence-based practice there. We don't see RCTs. We don't see large multicentric trials, the phase 3, phase 2 trials. And you just give a drug just based on textual references done centuries ago. Okay, and this we cannot call them as also medicine. When this is the context, when you talk about medicine, then they are not medicine. There's no evidence-based practice to that. If your evidence base is mainly based on textual references, then that's never a medicine. Medicine has evolved over centuries, has refined over centuries, and even in allopathy, if you see, there's nothing called allopathy since 1940s. Only after the invention of antibiotics, only after the invention of surgical techniques, was allopathy took off from that particular age, from the 1940s era, and became a very big science and very big system of medicine. Till then, it was only the chemists and druggists who were giving potents and medicines to the people around. Okay, but it came with a lot of inquisitiveness, a lot of evidence-based research and clinical understanding about the condition. Okay, and that's where we are supposed to go. And now look at our own system of medicine. Why we call our system? If Ayush tells that yoga and naturopathy is not a system of medicine, then let us just challenge this particular phrase. If you see the number of publications in PubMed in yoga or meditation, we have more than 10,000 publications in PubMed on yoga or meditation. Okay, and if you look at a simple example, I'm going to give you, look at yoga in cancer oncology. 31% of the yoga studies in oncology are are clinical trials. Okay, same way you look at Ayurveda in oncology, 0.000001%. So where are we there? So how can they say that they are a system of medicine? How can they say yoga is not a system of medicine today? Okay, same thing with naturopathy. You just look at it. But if you look at PubMed index, you type massage, you type calorie restriction, you type fasting, you type sunlight or heliotherapy, you type chromotherapy. Okay, you just type each individual therapies which we use in our naturopathy as a treatment modality. You get huge number of hits. Several lakhs of articles are published when you use all these together in naturopathy. Okay, similarly, you see the same thing with respect to yoga and meditation. 10,000 articles are there. But that's not the case with AU system, ASU system of medicine. Only 5,000 articles are there in Ayurveda, out of which only 200 articles are from India. So very 18 or 19 of them are from clinical trials. I can just say that. Whole system of medicine has only 18 to 19 clinical trials in PubMed. So where are we? We are at a much higher pedestal than other systems of medicine. And if people are trying to browbeat us, they are wrong. This is what I would like to tell you. And we need to prove ourselves time and again, showcase this to the world that what BMS has done. And if you look at the research of yoga research, especially from India, so India contributes about 20 to 20% of the global research publications on yoga today. And if you see, majority of the yoga institutions have BMS professionals working in most of the research projects. I'm very proud to tell you that initially the research we started off in premier institutes like SVASA, okay, and it was all owned and it was all run by most of our BNYS colleagues, the senior colleagues who started the research there. And so we should be very proud that we are taking this legacy forward. We are trying to bring about evidence-based research practices into yoga. And this, I think this is only a matter of time that people start realizing the futility of their argument. And I'm sure that there's going to be some justice to this. And people are going to understand that they need to give us the rightful place which we.
I think much earlier than you, Ayurveda was integrated into the modern healthcare system yoga has been part of All India Institute of Medical Sciences for last 60, 70 years. I think they have been researching the different aspects of yoga, and many of our own graduates have completed their PhD from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, many premier medical institutions. So I think this argument that whether yoga and naturopathy qualifies as a system of medicine or not is wrong in its very roots.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's completely wrong. And if you see why yoga and naturopathy is a very important aspect and why it goes well with other systems of medicine is because it's drugless. And people want to use this yoga and naturopathy system of medicine for all cases like diabetes, be it heart disease, be it any or management of any NCDs, even cancer as well. Because the moment you say I'm going to use Ayurveda, the other parts of the conventional mainstream medicine would really shun this idea. Okay, this is what I have seen based on my practice in a healthcare setup, especially a oncology group of hospitals where I was setting the camp treatment. We found a lot of support for yoga and naturopathy. The moment the patients came with Ayurveda and came with homeopathy or anything, they were asked to stop their medicine. The reason because they don't know what these medicines are going to do. They don't know what is the drug-drug interactions. Okay, so that was a major concern because there's no evidence-based finding or research to support these medicines. So again, what has happened here is most of these medicines are also practiced by certain uh, practitioners from the ASU who want to keep the secrets of the medicine to themselves, don't want to reveal it to the external world, are not comfortable being inquisitive about what this medicine contents are, or they're not open to any sort of research or any sort of scrutiny. And that has been a very sad part of the Ayush systems of medicine. And unless we open ourselves to scrutiny, and that is when I think the Ayush is going to flourish in India.
Thank you, Dr. Raghvendra
And
Rao. Madam, I have a question for you, elaborating on the very question of yoga and naturopathy, the system of medicine. There is a controversy which has started from the state where your national institute is. Maharashtra University of Health Sciences has come up with a very controversial kind of statement that they would like to start a 5-year medical, non-medical BNYS program. What does it mean?
See, I just would like to clarify one thing, take on from Dr. Raghavendra Rao. First of all, we should see it as a strength from naturopathy angle that all our treatments, all our interventions are transparent and open for scrutiny, whereas all other systems of medicine, there is a hell lot of confusion and hell lot of interactions, and which that's the reason that is their weakness, and we should see it as our strength, and hence we have to make all our therapeutic procedures and activities properly documented. All our doctors should be mindful of this, and proper documentation and correct documentation, and feel proud. And every intervention, earlier days when we were in college, we used to make fun of giving one mud pack and then one lemon juice. Does it make any sense? Why should it be mentioned? If it is not mentioned, we would be forced next day morning first to fill that up. That is kind of rigor and then seriousness with which we have to follow. And then coming back to this question of Maharashtra, see, we should also understand rule of law. Ultimately, we are working under a system of law, and health is a state domain. Today Ayush Ministry may be thinking of clubbing or removing yoga or with any other system that they feel like, as it is convenient to them. But it is none of their business for that matter, because health is a state chapter, and that's the precisely the reason why in Andhra Pradesh this system was recognized, and then university also gave us certificates. Similarly, in other states like Karnataka and Tamil Nadu and later Kerala and all other, government has come forward to recognize this course, and then it was passed through their legislative councils, and they got a governor's endorsement, and then it became a doctrine there. So this process is still not happened in Maharashtra. There is no medical council for naturopathy and yoga. And for this, I should also tell you, I was party to some of those meetings. And now that you brought it up openly, let everyone understand in our fraternity that it is yoga lobby which is very strong in Maharashtra because of huge foreign revenue that they get to the state. They have a strong lobby in the ministry, in the government. So they were resisting to come under any regulation. And it is naturopaths who want to come under regulation. You see the difference? Yoga people are not wanting to come under regulation, whereas naturopathy wanting to come under regulation. And the government, and which is heavily dominated by Ayurveda people, they took advantage of this, the difference between these two groups, and then happily playing. And so far, it has not come to the council. And last time after the meeting, the file was sent to CCRYN asking their comments to, because I was putting my foot down there. I said, come what may, it has to be recognized. If you don't recognize, it is your state which is at a loss. Because students from this state are going and studying elsewhere. Why should they study elsewhere? And from all over the country, if not abroad, students should come and study in Maharashtra. There is a national institute. National institute can be anywhere in the country. But then it is in your state and it is to your advantage. And you also have an institute, something like Urli Kanchan. Not only that, they had given Dhanvantari Award. Dhanvantari Award is given to highest medical person, in the state. It was given to Dr. J.M. Jusawala. When the science itself was not recognized, but then he was given in the field of naturopathy as a Dhanvantari Award. It's that kind of a nasty politics are going on here. And we don't have to feel sorry about whether they give 5-year course or 2-year course, whether it is given prefix of doctor or suffix of something, it doesn't matter. Till it becomes a law, it's legally accepted. This degree is not going to work for them. They will anyway be seen as non-entities. So no one should study this course. Let them promote till it becomes a law. It has to be legally accepted. Yeah. Yes,
Rajesh, ma'am, I think you put it rightly. And I think the next course of action should be when these are all politically motivated decisions, where you use the same acronym of BNYS as per UC guidelines, and you deem to make it as a paramedical course in one particular state, while 13 states have already recognized it as a professional course. There's no paramedical degree in anywhere in our country which is 5.5 years. Even your physiotherapy is just 4 years. And to have something which is 5.5 years and talk it as deem it as a paramedical is very, very foolish and laughable. And the only way, I think we should make a fun out of Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, talk to the medical education department, put it in the newspaper, show them what sort of foolishness they are into. And this is very, very important. And make this very loud and clear, so that their own foolish actions show them in the light of what they are
doing. Yeah.
Very right. Dr. Babu Joseph wants to come in. Yeah.
When the entire country is moving with a 5.5 years BNYS full-time yoga naturopathy course, it will be a shame on Maharashtra Health University to begin such a course with 5 years and not a doctoral program. It will be a shame on them. And I don't think that they will be able to continue it even for 1 year when the students come to know that ours is a non-doctoral course with 5 years, and with 5.5 years, it is a doctoral course. I don't think that they will be able to continue also, because the students will not do this kind of, or accept or agree to this kind of foolishness.
Correct. Yeah, that's what exactly I'm saying.
Yeah, and yoga ashrams and yoga centers, per se, they do not have any role in the healthcare systems or the delivery of health, how medical education or health education has to go on. So I think the very contention which is coming from them to, and then the pressure which they create to the Ministry or Department of Health officials in Maharashtra, uh, yeah, I think that is very unfounded. They should not even consult them. They should consult NIN or the yoga naturopathy physicians, Enigma.
What? I'm the only naturopath. All others are yoga gurus. It's
Yeah,
yoga
exactly.
gurus, fleet of yoga gurus, and then one naturopath. That is the situation.
Yeah, yeah.
What to do?
So
Their presence is so, why even in Ayush ministry,
yeah,
yoga day,
yeah,
how many naturopaths are there on the stage? It's all yoga gurus. So that
yeah.
is the status today. It won't remain forever like that. All gurus at one time or the other, we are seeing what's happening to there. So, we
Yeah, I think that is because they do not probably understand or differentiate between what is the role of yoga in different domains, especially yoga in healthcare or yoga and naturopathy in healthcare, and that is why they would like to confuse people when it comes to regulation, when it comes to medical education, various other aspects, and I think this process is just to delay or I think buy more time, because I don't think yoga and naturopathy as a composite system of medicine can be uh, cannot be recognized any further. 16 states have already regulated the system. 5 more states are in the process of doing it, and there is
correct.
already a demand which is coming in Parliament now and then, that this should be centrally recognized system of medicine. So I don't think government can hold it for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us hope so.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
I'm
now
quite optimistic about it. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't think there is any option, because there is also a
Correct.
huge public pressure which will come in. There are
Yes.
5 high courts which have instructed the government of India to regulate yoga and naturopathy at the central level. I don't think how long they can hold it.
See, if you
Uh,
see the current situation, just 1 second,
yeah,
in Tamil Nadu, in that Dindi district,
yeah,
in the open place, people are made to stand, and then they were made to do yoga and jalaneti by our doctors. Similarly, in Hyderabad hospital, in the open ground, the people were made to, and while maintaining physical distance, and all are containment hospitals, isolation wards also are there within the same premises. In spite of that, they are made to do yoga, and then yoga was conducted by our doctors. And who else? You see the similar situation in Ayurveda hospital? No. Unani hospital? No. So that is our strength. They cannot deny this. Sooner or later, they have to accept to the fact, and public pressure will definitely come.
now coming to the last part of the session, I would like to bring in the very 150th year of Mahatma Gandhi's birth anniversary, and the great connection the system of yoga and naturopathy in India we have with Mahatma Gandhi's uh, special love towards the system. Uh, Madam, I think your place is called Bapu Bhavan, the very building in which National Institute of Naturopathy is situated. And
Yeah.
Mahatma Gandhi used to come there, stay there, and take naturopathy treatments from Dr. Dinshaw Mehta, who adapted to naturopathy after practicing allopathic system of medicine. I think he was also the civil surgeon of Pune at one point of time, and then later adapted to naturopathy, and that place became very popular, and now it is declared as the National Institute of Naturopathy since 1986 by Government of India. So how can you just give us some insights into the Mahatma Gandhi's relationship with naturopathy?
Yeah, I think we all study in PNC as a chapter, but then I think we should slowly try to learn more about it, because world over, like yoga, Mahatma Gandhi is an accepted leader world over for many reasons. And the only thing that is completely ignored or deliberately shown in the very lighter note is his connection with nature cure, which we should be talking very loudly from top of our voices, because his stint with nature cure started with his no breakfast campaigns that he started while he was still doing his barrister at law. So while he was still a student, he was introduced to vegetarianism. He was introduced to some of the rudiments of naturopathy. But then the full-fledged practice of naturopathy has come when he was practicing in South Africa, where in his Tolstoy form, where he called his ashram a Tolstoy form, there he started practicing naturopathy not only on himself and his family members, but also the members of the Tolstoy form, and also used naturopathy modalities on Boer war victims. Can you believe war victims can also be treated using naturopathy modalities? And there was a plague outbreak, and then his volunteers, the V symbol, he stitched on his volunteers' dress, and then they wore these volunteer shirts, and then they went and then worked on plague patients. And there is a record. Luckily, with Mahatma Gandhi, every aspect of his life is in black and white. And today, Satyalakshmi may, for her own reasons, may concoct some stories and tell. But with regard to Mahatma Gandhi, there is no such situation. Everything is available. And how many patients they treated. And the beauty with naturopaths of early days were everything they documented. All naturopaths, surprisingly, because of their very committed and with conviction whatever that they did, they made a mention of everything, even what he treated his son Manilal when he got pneumonia, and also coupled with the typhoid, and how many minutes of full wet sheet pack he had given. And when he the temperature started coming down, how profusely the sweating was, everything was recorded. All these details, he has put in practice. And they later, after 1915, when he came back to India, and then by then naturopathy has took firm roots in India, and there were centers everywhere. And it is 1930s he chose Dinsha Mehta as his naturopathy doctor. He wanted a naturopathy doctor to supervise his experiments, because he was already experimenting quite a lot on that. And so much so that in his young India, he used to call volunteers to come forward to take up these experiments. And there used to be a list of people who would come volunteering. And then out of them, he would choose who can be, this inclusive, exclusive criteria. I don't know what he used, but then he would interview them, whether they're genuinely interested in naturopathy, whether they're going to practice it or not. All these he would assess and then put them into the experiment. And this kind of work is there, and we should go through his lifestyle and the records that are available. And while ICMR has done a book on it, they themselves have published a book on Mahatma Gandhi health and his connection with nature cure, while naturopaths are not owning it. I think we are doing a disservice. No, I mean, yeah. So this kind of owning him up will give us a wider platform. It is for our own good, taking Mahatma Gandhi on our side, because world over he is an accepted leader. And whatever he has done with a serious mind. And he was telling that I will, after independence, after attainment of independence, my life will be dedicated to the promotion of naturopathy, and I will take it to the poorest of the poor. Till then, I will not rest. And then, till this institution is made into university. Think of 1945, when we even did not have independence at that time. He could think of making this into a university. No, that was the vision. I think there cannot be a better person than Mahatma Gandhi to be on our side. That makes our system much more moral and ethical and needed for the society, for people, not for institutions, organizations, or for money making activity. It is for people, by people, and we are empowering people. What else you need as a tool? And Mahatma Gandhi did everything to say this in so many words and so many acts. So let's own it. And we have published a book also. And we are also wanting naturopaths in a big way to take this message to people and take Gandhi on your side. And you can gain entry anywhere and everywhere, irrespective of the politics. Whichever party is in power or out of power, they cannot disown Gandhi. This much I can tell. So it is for us a win-win situation that he is on our side. Nobody else can claim him the way we can claim. But we are not claiming. We should. I think we are doing a historical blunder if we don't do it. The sooner we do it, the louder we do it, the better for us. I see it that way.
Very right. I think Mahatma Gandhi's contribution to the yoga and naturopathy in India is well recognized, and I think our profession should take this up to spread this message that he was the one who made it uh, a big objective of his life to popularize this system, to make it applicable to a larger part of the population. And he talked about self-reliance more often when it comes to health. That people should be self-reliant. They should know how to be healthy. So, Dr. Babu Joseph, I would like to ask you this question: how self-reliance on health and the Gandhi's concept of self-reliance on health through yoga and naturopathy is very apt and pertinent to this time when there is a spread of non-communicable diseases. Um, we don't care for what we eat and what kind of lifestyle we live, and that is causing a lot of lifestyle disorders. So, can you please elaborate on this very self-reliance concept of health?
Yeah, your question is very relevant to today's situation actually. Dr. Satyalakshmi was mentioning about taking over of the management of plague by Mahatma Gandhi, and also treating his own son when he had severe fever with typhoid and pneumonia. So this gives us an insight about the strength of naturopathy in attending not only non-communicable diseases, but communicable diseases also. And today we are facing the pandemic COVID, where we are not able to, the society or the country is not able to address the situation. So here, what I have been trying during these 4 or 5 months is to make the people understand that the healing power and the immunity or immune power is the innate contribution we receive during our birth, and it cannot be increased in quantity, whereas it can only be improved, not increased but improved, for which we need to correct our lifestyle. Now, for example, if you have a fixed deposit of healing power or immune power, you can damage it with bad habits and bad lifestyle, unhealthy lifestyle. Then you can improve it by improving your lifestyle. And only that can resist the present infection also. Now, unfortunately, the mainstream medicine do not have any medicine or any solution for that. They are looking for vaccination, which is also not a permanent remedy for that, which may also have side effects. But whereas naturopathy with yoga is a perfect science which cannot give any failure, because there the physician is our own body and mind, and the body and mind together can act upon any ill health condition or disease condition and heal it. Now for COVID, the mechanisms what we are advising, for example, Jalneti, there has been evidence given by medical doctors that if you practice Jalneti on a regular basis with warm water, no COVID infection can affect you. Similarly, doing pranayama, because the organ involved in COVID is the lungs. So to strengthen the lungs, we need to practice breathing exercises or say pranayama, like Bastriga, Kapalbhati and Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, which also gives relaxation for the patient who is tensed or stressed. So for benefit as well as relaxation, yoga can contribute. Then cleaning procedure like dhauti and basti or enema, that also can contribute to infectious conditions. Then gargling with the warm water with maybe a little lemon or salt also is a good solution for COVID. So we have a solution for this, whereas the whole world is searching for a solution without identifying the solution what we have with us. That is only, again, I can say foolishness that it is not being recognized properly or identified properly, the potential or strength of yoga naturopathy system to manage not only non-communicable diseases. I actually feel ashamed to be called as a system to manage the non-communicable diseases. No, we are strong enough to manage the communicable diseases also, because any virus, bacteria, fungus or parasite can attack us only if it has a proper ground to grow, where we can avoid it by life natural or by the cleansing process or the detox programs, including fasting and other cleansing programs of yoga naturopathy. We can avoid any infection, we can prevent any infection. But I don't want to be called only as a preventive medical system, yoga naturopathy. No, it is a curative, preventive and curative. So I always object if anybody calls it as a preventive system. No, it is a preventive and curative system, and the body heals any disease, whether it is non-communicable or communicable. And then steam inhalation. What is the solution for COVID? Go for a steam inhalation with maybe basil leaf, or there are certain herbal leaves which we can add to the water when we make the steam. Like here we call it panikurka, that is fever leaf. You can add that. It gives a smell like the Vicks gives. That same smell that leaf has. It is also very useful for taking the raw juice and to use it in inhaling water. Then the sun bath. See, I don't know how the medical systems can be so blind from taking the COVID patients to sunlight. Why they are locked up in the rooms? They should be taken to the open sunlight so that they develop their immune system in a better way to perform. I'm not again mentioning increasing the immune system. No, it is improving the performance of the immune system by taking sun bath, by the sun energy, and by improving the vitamin D, by improving the calcium metabolism, by improving the purity of every system of the human body. That is how you will be able to prevent the COVID bacteria, COVID virus. And it is very simple. See, I give you the example of dengue infection with 4 days of water fasting and 2 days continuing with coconut water and honey water fasting, and then being on dieting for just 2 weeks more, the dengue infection was completely cured without any side effects or say any complications of the normal dengue infection people who have, and also the platelet counts coming to the normal or even a little beyond the normal count what is prescribed normally. When that is possible, and when plague was treated by Mahatma Gandhi, when pneumonia is treated in naturopathy, why not COVID to be treated by yoga naturopathy? We have the best remedy for any communicable diseases, and of course there is only naturopathy and yoga for non-communicable diseases. So this is my say about the strength of naturopathy in treating communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, and how Gandhiji has proved. From time of Gandhiji, we have been proved, and now Dr. Raghavendra is sitting there. I say we cannot anymore agree that our system is a system without proper evidence. No, n number of papers are published as compared to other Ayush systems. We have n number of published papers. It is evidence. You can see the benefit we are providing to HIV infected individuals through the HIV sanatorium by NIN. There are studies published. Published studies are evidence-based. Even the statistician was doubting upon the evidence what we have given. He has returned the paper to recheck it, but there was nothing more to correct, and he agreed to publish it. So, see, there may be ART, antiretroviral therapy, but along with that, as see, when yoga and naturopathy is applied to manage these HIV infected individuals, they improved drastically within 21 days. There is no single case after 21 days who has not reached above 400 the CD4 count. Can any other system provide this kind of result? So it's not infection that can डरा नहीं सकते. Yoga naturopathy practitioner को डरा नहीं सकते. You cannot make us afraid by telling that it is some serious infection like COVID. No, we can mend it through yoga naturopathy. Thank you. If I am overspoken, I am sorry.
No, actually, you have spoken it well. But my question was on the self-reliance aspect of Mahatma Gandhi and how it is related to naturopathy. No,
only yoga naturopathy can provide this self-reliance.
I understand. Yeah. So what I had meant was that, when there is a large number of non-communicable diseases which are lifestyle borne primarily are becoming big in number, this concept of self-reliance is very, very important. When it comes to infections, of course, we need the medical care, the help of yoga naturopathy professionals, the settings where it can be treated. Definitely, we cannot ask people to go and treat themselves. And that was the whole idea of putting that question to you.
Okay, can I take a few minutes?
Yeah, please.
See, post-independence period of India, I had to say it is a tragedy because nobody understood what is Gandhiji, what is Gram Swaraj, what is the importance of village-based economy and village-based health, or say the importance of agriculture. Lal Bahadur Shastri has told Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, but that has not been given importance in the post-independence day of India. Once you go to village economy and village-based development or say prosperity, it is not development actually. Again, development is being badly interpreted. So it's not what we need development, but we need prosperity. So for the prosperity of Indians, if we return to nature, as Gandhiji has returned to naturopathy through Return to Nature, the book written by Dr. Adolf Just, the sustainable way is only yoga and naturopathy, is only positive lifestyle with which we can assure perfect health, preservation, promotion, prevention, and cure. Only when people turn towards yoga and naturopathy as a sustainable system of living, sustainable system of health, sustainable system of medicine, then only the solution comes for every problem, whether it is infectious or non-infectious.
Thank you, sir. I think you have dwelt on the complete aspect of yoga naturopathy, how it can be helpful, uh, not just as a preventive but also curative and promotive of health. So I think that explains the overall aspect of the application of yoga and naturopathy as a system of medicine in healthcare and beyond. Um, Now, I would like to ask a question to Madam Satyalakshmi, and the question is elaborating on what Dr. Babu Joseph sir was just talking of, that yoga and naturopathy interventions are very successfully being used by the public healthcare systems in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, and some other states. So, can you just talk a little more about the COVID-19 and the philosophy of naturopathy?
Yeah. Just I will one more aspect of Mahatma Gandhi. I'll just one statement I would like to make here. Uh, after he suffered for a prolonged period of malaria, he was constantly losing weight and then becoming weak. And every doctor, the topmost doctor in the country was at his beck and call, because British Raj was concerned about Mahatma Gandhi's health. If something happens to him, they will be blamed. So, but then he refused to take opinion or medicine from any of these top-notch doctors. He said, my naturopathy doctor should tell me what I should do. And then that is when Dr. Dinsha Mehta, who advised him to come to NIN and then take treatment. After taking treatment, he said he not only gained weight, 16 lbs, very precise, right? So he mentioned how much weight he gained and how much strength he gained. And from that, Mahatma Gandhi gave a statement, and which is on record, and world over this is made fun of, that he said he will live up to 120 years. And he thanked naturopathy for giving him that kind of confidence. This is what we should let all naturopaths in first year itself commit themselves that I will not use diabetic medicines or hypertension medicines. I will be self-reliant. Why are we shrinking in taking this pledge? We should say that I will never be diabetic, I will never be hypertensive. Can't we say this? No, this is, I think, we should learn lessons. The more you commit openly, publicly, the more it will reinforce your commitment to the system. So we should keep on doing this. And then coming back to COVID. COVID is not a, see, as such, we naturopaths should not recognize diseases. Disease and health are not two airtight compartments separate. They crisscross and they overlap. They are simultaneously happening in the body. If that is understood that way, whatever label you give to the disease is a label. That's all. But then human body's mechanisms are much more organic. That's the reason no two COVID patients are showing same symptoms and same kind of severity. Why it is so perplexing to modern medicine to handle is many of them are actually asymptomatic. More than 50%, according to ICMR seropositive test that they have done it in Pune in the month of June, more than 60% are seropositive, not having any symptoms. If that is the case, so we are already heading for herd immunity. That means human body is internally more intelligent. It has a wisdom of its own, and it knows to respond and react. And that is what exactly what was mentioned. Whatever drug needed will be produced inside the body at appropriate levels and at appropriate time. It's not that as a preventive you give it before and then wait for it. No, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. So you, and when exposed, and body knows to function, and the body responds in the same way. So that's why we will never bring temperature down. In fact, we want to have temperature so that you clear the viral load. So, but in all others, so immediately it is paracetamol or dolo, and then all sorts of medicines that are given. Why suppress? If in hot temperature, if virus dies, let hot temperature remain, right? That is the logic. And why we are giving steam? Steam is only to expose to hot temperatures, and then why sunbath? So the more and the better, right? And steaming also for the entire body, also for that matter. So treatments apart, it is our basically our understanding that human body is more capable. And another thing that as naturopaths, we are not averse to death. We are not telling that we will avert death and then put people on ventilators. No. In fact, again, taking example from Mahatma Gandhi, he allowed Kasturba to die in his lab in Aga Khan Palace. That also happened in Pune. And hour to hour, how her health was deteriorating was recorded. And he explained to her whether medicine or not medicine, this is what is. So, taking death and relating it to disease and then improving health in order to keep a person as a vegetable is not our domain. We are not looking into that kind of science as science. That is technology. Science is different from technology. So the science of naturopathy tells that human body is a powerful machine, and it's a live machine. It works all by itself. You just have to allow it to function, not through too many interventions. The more you disturb, the more the organic mechanism that is taking place, that is building up inside the body, gets vitiated. So we are not to do that. We just have to allow it to work. And that needs isolation, that needs courage, that needs education. And that is, so how well we will be able to transfer this knowledge depends on how much we imbibe the essence of it. So it comes from that power when you do it on yourself. And most of naturopathy is not only evidence-based medicine, but experiential science. Each one of us can experience the beauty of how human body works. Experience it. All naturopaths have to experience. They have to go through. They should get fever. Why in NIN, to our own doctors, I was telling, get yourself exposed. Why are you worried? Even to COVID. So how long? So I was quite averse to wearing mask. So let us expose ourselves and then see what happens. Invite it instead of fearing it. The fear is the one which helps the conventional systems, not us. No fear, and that's the reason all our doctors, they're going and then happily treating, nicely treating, and when compared to, I think Dr. Raghavendra Rao, we should take up one study wherein medical doctors, many medical doctors are dying at a very young age without any comorbidities, whereas naturopaths involved in COVID work, there are hardly any incidents. Even if there are 2 or 3 stray incidents of getting COVID positive, they're easily coming out of it. I think we should show this as as an example to the world. I think we are definitely on a what you call a good demonstration to the world that naturopathy is helping very well, and the docters and paramedics who are involved in COVID activities, both in Telangana and Tamil Nadu, we are closely, getting information. Other states, we are not getting much because we are also taking up one registry. Through that, we are getting to know a lot of information, and they are doing extremely well. And we should have a mechanism where we celebrate this success. I see it as a success, and it's a grand success. And there's absolutely no fear. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the government of Tamil Nadu actually lauding the efforts which are made by yoga naturopathy physicians in Tamil Nadu. We regularly
Yes.
see the statements coming from the Chief Minister and Health Minister of Tamil Nadu, and they are
Yes.
very encouraging for yoga naturopathy because more than 200 of yoga naturopathy physicians are engaged in the COVID care throughout the state at all levels of healthcare, and they are giving a lot of and a host of yoga naturopathy interventions for COVID care, sometimes in combination with the conventional care. So I think this is an example which can be replicated elsewhere, and I think Dr. Babu Joseph sir was mentioning that yoga naturopathy is not just for non-communicable diseases; it's also for treating the infections, and COVID actually has given us that opportunity, which is also being used in Telangana very successful. I think the Nature Cure Hospital in Hyderabad has
Yes.
an elaborate facility for COVID care now, and our doctors are continuously engaged, very successfully treating. And every week we have hundreds of patients successfully getting discharged after yoga and naturopathy interventions. So I think this is something which we should build on across other states, and I think this will also give a wider acceptance to yoga and naturopathy as a system of medicine when a situation comes like this, where nobody knows what to do. Yoga and naturopathy physicians are coming forward and offering what they think about their body and immunity, and this is very very helpful to also gain the confidence of the very people who were treated successfully. Dr. Raghavendra Rao, building on this, I think you have a big experience in palliative care. You have worked with the cancer hospital. You have been attending various integrative medicine and integrative oncology conferences throughout the world. Can you give us some idea, like how yoga and naturopathy uh, evidence have evolved in clinical care?
See, when you start talking about yoga and naturopathy, it easily fits and integrates into conventional care. That's very important because we are a regular system of medicine, and we are talking about lifestyle changes. We are talking about changing in nutrition, having physical activity, doing yoga, trying to stay calm, reducing stress, which are going to be very, very useful whenever there is any NCD, as well as even in case of communicable diseases as well. So I would like to tell you that even NIH, I did one of the first projects of Indo-US collaboration on using yoga, meditation, health in pre-diabetes and HIV. This is my first study on yoga interventions in HIV patients, where we showed that yoga can be very useful in improving CD4 counts in patients who are on antiretroviral therapy. Okay, so having said that, what I'm trying to say is conventional medicine can embrace yoga very easily. The only thing is we need to bring a bridge between the ANYS practitioners and conventional medical practitioners, and we need to make ends meet to know where is it that we can use yoga there, where is it we can use that. For example, in oncology, so what we did was in HCG Healthcare Global Enterprises, we worked with Indian Association for Palliative Care, and of late I've also done a lot of work with Society for Integrative Oncology in US. It's one of the biggest organizations in palliative care and in as far as integrative medicine is concerned. And we look at evidence-based approaches. Means we look at problem areas. I'm just giving an example of oncology. We're looking at problem areas in oncology. For example, fatigue is a very big problem. It's all patients face. Having low immunity and low blood counts is a very important problem. Chemotherapy-induced nausea, vomiting is a very important problem. Anemia is a very important problem. Oral mucositis during radiotherapy is a very important problem. Speech is a very important problem. Morphine-induced constipation is a very important problem in terminal cases. So in all these places, these are problem areas which they don't have solution to, and these are also the problem areas where we have solutions. Okay, and that's when we do the studies. You work on those problem areas, develop those yoga modules, develop evidence for using those yoga modules, and that is when you can practice integrative medicine. So you develop evidence for what is not being done and try to bridge and solve a problem in that particular area of context. And that's exactly what we intend to do. And I would like to do a small announcement here. Even with COVID-19, we are now partnering with Eco India Network. So Eco India is one of the offshoots of Tata Trust, and it's a very big platform which has been working with Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, training healthcare volunteers in COVID-19. Okay, so C7 is partnering with them. So we are along with NIMHANS, we are developing a psychosocial rehabilitation module to train BMS doctors in managing COVID-19. So SIASA, NIMHANS, then CCRYM, Enigma, as well as the Eco India Network is going to be working together, and we're developing this module. And we want to launch this module throughout the country. And Eco India is already having contact with all the referral hospitals, all the hospitals which are COVID care centers, and they're going to place our BMS people who are all certified COVID-19 volunteers in their own places, in their own cities, wherever there's a requirement for having COVID-19 volunteer for psychosocial rehabilitation. This is one thing which we are planning. Secondly, we are also doing a lot of work with Marigold Clinics from Hindustan Latex Limited, autonomous body and Ministry of Health and Child Welfare. They have 400 antenatal clinics across India, and we want to pilot train BMS doctors in antenatal care. Okay, with evidence-based antenatal care practices, and then put them across in those clinics. So this helps in integrating both yoga as well as conventional stream of medicine. The third thing is we are opening bringing in almost all the Institute of Medical Sciences. So we are starting with AIMS Rishikesh, AIMS Raipur, PGI Chandigarh, and several other ICMR funded research medical colleges later on. So we are going to open a center for mind body medicine and research in yoga. So in all these aims, this thing, the idea behind that is to do research in various modalities, various specialties in aims, train aims doctors also in research in yoga. So they also get to know what it is, and have a chance for having BMS people undergo PhD program in yoga, along with these kind of research studies that are happening already there. It's already going to be funded by the Center for Mind Body Medicine. So we also help in capacity building of BMS doctors there. Okay, so these are some of the ideas where we are trying to see how we can make this, how we can integrate both specialties and how we can move towards a path of integrative medicine. This is what we want to do. We want to start developing modules. We want to have these same thing, we're planning the same thing to do with the PHFI with on preventive cardiology, cardiac rehabilitation program, and train the Ayush doctors in our BMS doctors in cardiac rehab programs, and then place them in multi-specialty cardiology hospitals. So once we start doing this, and when our importance becomes much higher, because you know very well that when modern medical systems will not really embrace other systems of medicine so easily, but they can easily embrace yoga. They can easily embrace yoga and Naturopathy or medicine. So we want to do the same thing in case of diabetology, in case of cardiology, in case of oncology, and we are already trying to partner with all the relevant institutions and main stakeholders, and we want to bring into the forefront evidence-based practices, and that is only going to strengthen our hands. Okay, and soon once we are able to be their soldiers, okay, and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is also going to chip in to bring about this integrative concept to our country. We can be the leaders in propagating integrative health in our country compared to others. What is my aim, and we hope to be able to fulfill this agenda during my term in CRY.
Thank you, Dr. Raghvendra Rao. Dr. Babu Joseph, sir, I want to bring you in for your last comment on how you have been using yoga and naturopathy as a combination in decades of your clinical experience. You have been you have actually worked as the chief medical officer of government yoga and natural cure hospital Varkala for more than 2 decades. So please share some of your experiences. I think he's not there. Okay. I think we will wait for him to come back. But anyway,
Rajesh,
madam,
one more thing I just want to add.
oh yeah, please.
Yeah. So when you talk about integrative health or integrative medicine, while other
Mhm.
systems of medicine tend to use conventional medicine, tend to practice allopathy in their own countries, we have never been employed in integrative medicine in our country. So what we are trying to do is trying to combine our system of medicine.
We have lost your connection as well.
Oh, okay. You're not hearing me?
Mm, no. Yeah. Okay. Come back.
Okay. So basically, when you see other systems of medicine, where their definition of integrative medicine is for them to practice allopathy along with their pathy, which is not integrative medicine at all. So, what is integrative truly is where you practice your pathy or your system of medicine and help in bridging the gaps in the other system of medicine, like the conventional medicine. And that is truly integrative health or integrative medicine, where you look at the benefits which is given to the patient. Okay, so of the benefit, the doctor benefits, the patient also benefits, the institution or the care provider also benefits when you practice this model. So this is based on evidence-based practices, and this is what we need to eschew and start using this and developing this in our particular stream of medicine.
Yeah, I think there would be more integration because allopathy, the modern medicine is more or less a lot ready than the counterparts in Ayush healthcare to integrate yoga and naturopathy with them. So let us start from where they are receptive.
Yes.
Madam, would you like to give some closing comments to this whole webinar? We will have a series of webinars, and I think this is going to uh, give an idea about what yoga and naturopathic system of medicine is and what we do. And we are going to bring a lot of discussions through these series of webinars in association with Enigma and Healthink. Uh, so
Yeah.
please give your closing comments for today's discussion.
Yeah, first of all, I congratulate Enigma for taking this initiative because we can only strengthen our hands by sharing knowledge. And that is possible only when we have this kind of seamless connection. That is now possible again thanks to COVID. It had opened up all these channels, and we are also exploring and effectively utilizing all those avenues. And which is one now we are able to reach out to people virtually and then getting connected with them. And I think there cannot be a better thing than sharing knowledge. If you give financial help or any other help, it will be temporary. But then knowledge sharing, it remains once for all. And another thing is, it's like we also understand that all of us are sailing in the same boat, and maybe having same rocking experiences in the process. So need not worry or brood sitting alone. Instead, you share it across and then understand that I am not alone going through this, and there are many others, and it's okay to go through that. Even if there are any issues, it will be like waiting room space. In waiting room, you get to know uh, people with much more suffering or more than me. That gives a temporary relief. So, and another thing is we also get to know that how many diversified ways people are using the tools of naturopathy. That is another very positive aspect that happens through this kind of communication. You have really taken right decision and hosting these webinars, and then creating a platform through which people can air their experiments and their issues, whatever they are facing also. But then this should not become a platform to bully each other, or we should be mindful of that also. We are capable of that. Of course, we are human beings, and so we have all the follies of human nature. Uh, and the effectively it should be utilized for the promotion and of the system, and how we can help each other in the process. If there is a provision, you can think of, or even now, or if you want CCRN or NIN to pitch in there, if there are any avenues for people to explore, those things can also be shared with the larger sections of people, because unemployment has become a real issue now, and many hospitals, many clinics have been closed down because for months together they cannot pay rent, and then for staff payments and all that is becoming a problem, and they're completely out of job. We should also think of how they can get sufficient finances using the profession. I think that is one area we need to look into. But otherwise, this is a very good initiative. I appreciate your effort in that area. And whatever bit that we can do, we will certainly do. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. One more question on behalf of the students, parents, and physicians who are part of our yoga and naturopathic medicine profession and the families associated with it. What is the future of yoga and naturopathic medicine when you look ahead?
I think last 30 years, when I see, this is I would see it as a golden period for naturopathy. There was never so much of public acceptance and government support also, in spite of hiccups here and there. See, for example, Tamil Nadu, and then this Telangana, and even in Karnataka, and then northeastern states also, more and more governments are coming forward, and so it is for us to how to take that, and public acceptance has definitely increased a lot. And allopathy side, we have from the beginning also, from my college days also, I am seeing there is less resistance from them, because we don't talk much against as such the conventional system. It is that we are so mindful about our diet, exercise, our therapies. We are so obsessed with our own thing. We have less time to criticize them. So maybe that was one reason there was a very good referrals from them. So improve your referral mechanisms and go to doctors, explain them what you're going to do. And as the health parameters improve, the medical burden, the burden of medicines will anyway come down. It is up to the patient and then their doctor. We don't even have to. We should be mindful about bringing about improving health parameters. So long as you focus on that, I think there is no looking back. And from NIN, I would say that our fellowship programs, our research fellowship program, and then Gandhian fellowship programs, they're all open to BNYS first. Only if we don't get sufficient numbers from BNYS community, only then we will go for others. So it is for our people to take it. There's going to be good future. Yeah, I see.
Thank you. Dr. Raghvendra Rao, your closing comments.
This is actually a golden period for yoga and naturopathy, and It's time that we all have to work together in unison, and try to strategize, and try to see and try to demand all our rights and privileges which are due to us. And this is very important that we all speak with one voice. And we all speak in different forums. We may be there, but we all have to speak in one voice. We have to set aside our difference of opinions. And very important is to bring about regulation of the system of medicine. So we also see a lot of quackery here. We see a lot of people who are self-claimed naturopaths without any training, trying to give certificates, do bogus degrees courses, okay, and trying to make money out of this particular system. And we need to bring a stop to that. And some people were also asking, many of them are conducting yoga therapy courses without any hospital set up on how to regulate them. Yeah, I think unless we bring about registration, we bring about accredited standards for yoga and naturopathy, we won't be able to do that. And that should be the way forward. Developing minimum standard requirement MSRs for BNYS colleges as well as for yoga institutions to know who can really offer therapy and who can't. Okay, therapy is something not just that you add and you do put a PowerPoint slide, talk about diabetes, and tomorrow morning you go and treat diabetes. It's not like that. It is much more than that. You should learn to see a patient, learn to interact with the patient, treat a patient, experience yourself what the patient is going through when you're going to give them this kind of a treatment. That is when you can become a therapist. Without even having exposure to a patient, without just having a bookish knowledge or knowledge from some teachers online or offline, whatever it is not going to make you a therapist. So therapist is where you need to learn on the ground situation. You need to have the experience with the patient, without which you cannot be qualified as a therapist. It's very, very important for us to understand this. And we need to make these right noises in the government also. And people who are stakeholders in the government, we need to impress upon themselves about the um, changes which need to be done to improvise this particular system of medicine, this particular stream of medicine. I think we should be doing that, and we should be doing this consistently and till they relent on this.
Thank you, and thank you all the audience for joining in this wonderful discussion. Uh, uh, Thank you, Madam Satyalakshmi, for taking time out. I know that you had another engagement which you cancelled, and you came for this uh, webinar. Dr. Raghvendra Rao and Dr. Babu Joseph sir, who got disconnected in between. On behalf of Enigma and Healthink, I would like to thank all of you. Thank you. We'll see you again. Thank you.